Every species voted to enslave Earth. Now they all beg for mercy. The Galactic Assembly Hall was enormous, stretching across what seemed like 1,000 kilometers. Its walls glimmered with shifting colors, reflecting the diversity of life that had gathered there. Hundreds of species, some with shapes that humans could barely comprehend, filled the space. Tentacles, wings, scales, multiple eyes, and bodies of light floated in their seats, while others sat firmly on gravity-controlled platforms. The air vibrated with a hum of anticipation, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. At the center of the hall, a holographic display showed a small blue planet in a quiet corner of the galaxy, Earth. Every species had been summoned to vote on its fate. For centuries, humans had grown in secret, expanding across their planet, mastering technology and quietly observing the stars. Few had taken them seriously, labeling them as primitive and divided. Now all those assumptions would be tested. From the human delegation's vantage point, the hall seemed chaotic. The humans sat in a long, silver-framed section near the edge of the hall. Unlike most species, they were small, with no wings, no scales, no shining bodies, just ordinary humans in dark suits. They did not move much, they did not speak, they watched. Their silence confused many. "Why do they not panic?" whispered a four-eyed diplomat from the Trium species. "They must know what is coming." The chair of the assembly, a massive being with translucent skin and flowing ribbons of color inside its body, floated above the center podium. Its voice carried through the hall in many tones at once, yet every species understood it perfectly. "Delegates of the Galactic Assembly," it said, "we have convened today to decide the future of Earth. The vote will determine whether the planet remains free or if it shall be placed under collective governance by the Assembly." A murmur spread across the hall. Some species, like the Revalan, shimmered with excitement, their energy surges visible to the eye. "Finally," hissed a Revalan representative, "a chance to control the weakest species in this galaxy." Other species nodded silently. Many had long considered Earth's position irrelevant, a tiny backwater in the galactic map. Few had actually studied human capabilities. Most had simply assumed humans could not unite, could not defend themselves, and could not survive a real challenge. The humans remained still. Their leader, a man named Commander Elias Gray, adjusted his seat slightly but said nothing. His expression was calm, almost unreadable. Behind him, the other human delegates mirrored his demeanor. They were not afraid. In fact, each of them had spent years preparing for this exact moment, though no one in the hall would have guessed. The chair continued. "Each species will now cast their vote. Remember, this is a decision that affects the entire galaxy. Let your voice reflect the wisdom of your people." One by one, species cast their votes. Holographic projections appeared above each delegate, showing their choice clearly: freedom or control. The first to vote was the Revalan. They were confident, their tentacles vibrating with energy. "Control," they declared. Their vote flashed red above their seat. Many species followed quickly. The Trium, the Sorlans, the Fyrax, they all voted for control, believing that Earth's resources and strategic position could be claimed with little effort. The humans did not intervene. They said nothing. They did not attempt to argue. They simply observed. "Control," repeated a booming voice from the Cygnar fleet commander. He had wings stretching nearly 10 meters, his feathers shining metallic gold. "The humans cannot unite against us. This vote is logical. They are weak." By the time the final vote approached, nearly every species in the hall had chosen control. Only a handful remained silent, unsure, or curious about what humans might do. Then it was over. The vote passed. Earth was to be placed under the control of the Assembly. A wave of cheers erupted from the delegates who had voted for control. Many floated higher into the air, celebrating before the chair could even announce the result. The chair's voice cut through the noise. "The vote has passed. Earth will be governed by the Assembly. Control fleets will be dispatched immediately." Across the hall, the human delegates did not move. They did not cheer. They did not frown. Their calmness was unnerving to many observers. Some whispered among themselves, "Why are they not panicking?" Commander Elias Gray finally spoke, though not loudly. His words were calm, precise. "Let them come," he said to his team. "They are not ready to face us." Behind him, the humans activated a silent network of communications. Messages flew across Earth, across the ships orbiting the planet, and across the hidden stations in nearby star systems. Humans had been preparing for this moment for decades. Every city, every research facility, every space station had been reinforced. The galaxy thought Earth was weak, but in truth, humans had been hiding the full extent of their strength. Meanwhile, the alien fleets began to mobilize. Massive warships left the assembly's central sectors, heading toward Earth at incredible speeds. Commanders on these ships were confident. Their training, their numbers, their weapons, they believed nothing could stop them. Many laughed at the thought of facing humans. "They will surrender easily," said a Sorlian officer. "They cannot possibly fight us." But not all aliens were confident. Some had observed the humans closely over the past decades. A few remembered reports of strange technological advances. Weapons that could neutralize entire fleets without warning, ships that could move faster than sensors could track, and humans who had survived wars far worse than anything the galaxy had imagined. Still, most dismissed these as exaggerations. On Earth, preparations continued quietly. Cities activated defense grids, satellites aligned in precise orbits, and hidden fleets positioned themselves in strategic locations. Humans did not panic. They had trained for this. They had planned for centuries. Every move was calculated. Every possible scenario had been accounted for. Commander Gray and his team monitored the alien movements. "They underestimate us," he said, pointing to a holographic display of the incoming fleets. "Every species believes we are weak. They do not know the truth." As the alien fleets approached Earth's outer systems, strange anomalies began to occur. Communications between ships failed mysteriously. Sensor readings fluctuated without cause. Some fleets reported losing entire squads of drones without explanation. Panic began to spread among the officers, though most kept it hidden from their crews. Back in the assembly hall, news of these anomalies reached the delegates. Confusion and fear began to replace their earlier triumph. How could a single planet so small and supposedly weak cause such disruptions? Commander Gray watched quietly. He did not celebrate. He did not gloat. He simply observed, as he had always done. "We are not the aggressors," he reminded his team. "We are the defenders. Let them come and they will see that humans are not what they expect." In the shadows of the assembly hall, a few alien delegates began to whisper among themselves. "Perhaps we were too hasty," one said. "Perhaps we underestimated them." But it was too late. The vote had been cast. Control fleets were already on their way. The galaxy believed Earth would fall easily. Earth's leaders remained calm. They did not need to attack first. They only needed to hold. The humans had spent centuries learning the strengths and weaknesses of every major species. They had observed every strategy, every tactic, every historical war. They knew the galaxy's arrogance would be their greatest weapon. As night fell over Earth, satellites in orbit hummed to life. Lights flickered across every major city, not as a signal to fear, but as a silent warning. Humans were ready. Commander Gray stood in a quiet command center, looking out at the stars. "They think they can control us," he said. "They think we are weak. They are about to learn the truth. The galaxy has underestimated humanity for the last time." And so, with the vote cast and the alien fleets moving forward, Earth held its silence. A silence that no one in the galaxy could understand. A silence that hid centuries of preparation, of ingenuity, and of resilience. A silence that promised that when the moment came, humanity would show the stars what it truly meant to survive. For the first time in galactic history, every species had believed it could enslave a world. But humans were ready. And when the truth became clear, the galaxy would remember this moment forever. The calm before the storm stretched across the cosmos. Earth remained quiet still, but underneath that quiet, a power was awakening. A power that no species had truly seen before. And when the first contact occurred, the assembly, the fleets, and every alien species that had voted for control would realize they had made the gravest mistake of their history. The alien fleets advanced toward Earth at speeds that stretched across light years in what seemed like hours. From the perspective of their command centers, the planet looked tiny and vulnerable, almost insignificant in the vast emptiness of space. Millions of eyes, mechanical, biological, and energy-based, watched as Earth slowly rotated beneath the approaching forces. Admiral Thrin of the Sorlian Armada floated above his command deck, tentacles coiling in excitement. "Soon, we will have control over their world. Their resources, their fleets, even their cities, all under the Assembly's command," he said, his voice trembling with pride. Around him, officers nodded, confident in the plan that had been approved weeks ago. Yet, as their ships moved closer, strange anomalies began to appear. Drones sent ahead to survey the outer atmosphere of Earth disappeared without a trace. Communications between fleet wings flickered in and out, even though the technology should have been perfect. The sensors themselves began to act strangely, detecting movements that could not exist, readings that defied logic. "What is happening?" demanded Lieutenant Kree of the Revalan fleet. He stared at his console, his tentacles quivering. "Our drones gone just like that." Admiral Thryn scowled. "Check the energy fields, recalibrate the sensors. Something is interfering with our systems." Minutes passed, then hours. Each fleet reported similar issues. Ships that had never experienced malfunctions now faced simultaneous failures. Small systems began to shut down randomly, engines faltering, weapons offline. Panic began to ripple through the ranks, though most officers tried to hide it. On Earth, Commander Elias Gray observed everything from the central command center under the Rocky Mountains. His team monitored every alien movement in real time, not through luck, but through decades of preparation. Hidden satellites, cloaked ships, and advanced quantum sensors gave humans information the aliens could not even dream of. Gray stood in front of a holographic map of the approaching fleets. Red dots indicated Sorlian ships, blue dots the Revalans, green dots the Signar. Hundreds of ships in formation, all expecting to conquer a world with minimal resistance. "Notice anything strange?" Gray asked his second-in-command, Lieutenant Maurice Chen. Maurice tapped on a panel. "Yes, sir, their systems are degrading, slowly but noticeably. Their communication is unstable and several sensors report phantom signals." "Whatever they expected, it isn't working." Gray nodded, calm as ever. "They underestimated us. That is always their mistake. Earth has learned, adapted, and prepared. Let them continue. The moment they act, they will see the consequences." Meanwhile, alien captains grew increasingly frustrated. "Why do they not respond?" a Triumph commander shouted. "Where is their surrender, their fear?" "They are not replying," said his second-in-command, a thin, spindly creature with hundreds of small eyes. "Every standard method of communication is ignored. Every protocol we know is ineffective." On Earth, humans had created layers of defense designed to appear almost passive. Orbital shields could render entire fleets immobile. Automated systems could jam communications or redirect energy beams harmlessly into space. Advanced drones could disable enemy engines without firing a single shot. Yet none of this had been activated fully. Only the minimal signs had been left to confuse and frustrate the aliens, enough to make them believe something unusual was happening. In orbit, small human reconnaissance ships emerged. They were almost invisible, moving faster than alien sensors could track. When detected, they appeared only briefly, leaving traces of energy that suggested massive forces had been deployed, even though they carried no weapons. The aliens did not understand what they were seeing. On board the Sorlian flagship, Admiral Thryn's tentacles twitched nervously. "We are being observed. They are watching our every move." "Yes," Lieutenant Kree replied, "and we cannot identify their presence. Our scans cannot penetrate whatever is blocking them." At that moment, a small human ship passed undetected between two of the largest alien vessels, touching one lightly before disappearing. The alien ship systems faltered for a few seconds, engines stuttering, weapons offline, shields flickering. Then it recovered. The crew stared at one another in disbelief. "They are sabotaging us?" one officer asked. "No," Thryn said, voice low. "Not yet. Something else, something beyond our understanding." On Earth, Gray's team observed the reactions in real time. No alarms, no excitement, just calm observation. Their plan was not to destroy the aliens immediately, but to show them that their arrogance had blinded them. Every failure the aliens experienced was intentional, every malfunction orchestrated to demonstrate human control without provoking a full war. Yet, far above the planet, the alien fleets continued their approach. Clouds of ionized gas formed strange patterns in the upper atmosphere, seemingly harmless, but capable of disrupting alien propulsion systems. Satellites that appeared ordinary began to emit signals that interfered with energy-based sensors. All of this was invisible to human eyes on the surface, perfectly safe but deeply unsettling to the aliens. A Sorlian lieutenant shouted across the bridge, "Sir, another wing has lost contact. Entire squadrons gone." Thrin's color shifted, a natural reaction of his species to stress. Impossible. There is nothing in this system capable of causing that. Nothing. On Earth, Gray simply nodded to his team. They are learning the lesson we hoped they would. Meanwhile, humans in orbit were ready. Ships hidden in cloaked positions patrolled the outer edges of the alien formations. These ships were small, fast, and equipped with systems designed to disable enemy fleets without combat. If the aliens attacked, the humans could destroy key systems in minutes. If they retreated, humans would follow, learning every strategy for the future. Back in the assembly, rumors began to spread. "Something is happening near Earth," one delegate whispered. "The fleets, they are reporting losses before even reaching the surface. How can this be?" "No," said another, a long-winged Signar diplomat. "The humans must have some hidden weapon, something we have not considered." "Perhaps," said a third, "they are not weak at all. Perhaps they are stronger than we believed." The words hung in the hall. For the first time, some delegates questioned their previous assumptions. In the outer planets of the system, alien fleets attempted to reorganize. Communication networks were unreliable. Navigation systems experienced fluctuations. Drones sent to the atmosphere never returned. Panic began to creep into some of the lower-ranking officers, and yet no human had fired a shot, no missiles had been launched, no energy beams had been unleashed. The planet below remained serene, oceans sparkling under the light of its sun, cities glowing faintly, but entirely peaceful. On the surface, civilians went about their lives unaware of the alien fleets approaching. Schools continued, businesses operated, and children played in parks. Most had been trained for emergency situations, but few had seen anything like this. From underground command centers, humans observed the activity above and smiled quietly. The calm of the planet was part of the strategy, a demonstration that humanity could control chaos without panic. Commander Gray activated another layer of the orbital defenses. This time, faint pulses of energy were emitted into the upper atmosphere, detectable only by advanced sensors. The alien fleets noticed immediately. Engines stuttered, energy readings fluctuated, and shields wavered. Officers shouted, trying to understand what was happening. "They are manipulating the environment," one Trium officer said, voice trembling. "Yes," another replied. "It is precise, controlled, almost intelligent, but no signs of ships, no visible weapons." Gray leaned back, watching the alien fleet scramble. "They cannot see us," he said. "They cannot understand what we are doing, and that is exactly how it should be." Time passed slowly as the alien fleets approached closer to Earth's orbital limit. Every system was tested, every assumption challenged. Yet still, humans remained calm, observing, analyzing, waiting for the moment to reveal their full strength. Then an unexpected event occurred. A massive Sorlian battleship tried to enter the atmosphere for reconnaissance. It faltered mid-orbit. Engines failed briefly, shields flickered, and internal systems went offline. Panic spread throughout the fleet. "What is causing this?" shouted Admiral Thrin. "We are being attacked by what? Where?" No human force had engaged them. Instead, the interference came from layers of automated defenses, satellites, and hidden ships. Humans had studied every species, every technology, every potential threat. They had anticipated every move before it even occurred. And now the aliens were discovering the limits of their own knowledge. Meanwhile, Earth's media, controlled by humans and carefully monitored, broadcast calming messages to the world. "No action is necessary. Remain calm. Humans are prepared to defend the planet. Trust your leaders." Civilians, unaware of the fleet's movements above, followed instructions, providing the humans with an additional layer of psychological advantage. Complete normalcy on the surface while chaos unfolded above. Back in the assembly, whispers grew louder. Delegates who had voted for control began to worry. "Perhaps we have misjudged them," one said. "Perhaps they are far more capable than we thought." Commander Gray did not respond to the whispers. He did not need to. Every action was calculated. Every disruption, every confusion, every malfunction experienced by the alien fleets was intentional. The galaxy had assumed humans were weak, but humans had prepared for centuries. Every species that had voted for control would soon understand that their arrogance had been their greatest mistake. And so, the alien fleets continued to move closer, unaware of the full extent of human preparedness. The galaxy had expected fear, surrender, and weakness. Instead, they found confusion, disruption, and silence. a silence that promised a lesson they would never forget. Part 2 ended with the alien fleets confused, systems failing, and humans observing calmly. The true power of Earth remained hidden, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal itself. The stage was set for the next act, the first human message, the turning point that would shock the galaxy and begin the fall of those who had voted to enslave Earth. The alien fleets had reached the edge of Earth's orbit. Every officer, every commander, and every delegate who had voted for control of the planet expected an easy victory. They imagined humans panicking, surrendering, begging for mercy. But nothing happened. Instead, silence stretched across the planet below and the surrounding space. The cities glimmered faintly under the sun. Satellites and orbital stations hummed with quiet precision. Hidden fleets, invisible even to the most advanced sensors, moved like shadows through the stars. Admiral Thrin of the Sorlian Armada had begun to lose his confidence. His massive tentacles twitched nervously as he floated over the command deck. "Reports from all wings," he said, his voice strained. "Engines are stuttering. Communications are failing. Sensor readings, they make no sense." "Sir," a lieutenant responded, "our drones are disappearing. Entire squads vanish. No energy spikes, no explosions, nothing, just gone." Thrin's color changed. His kind expressed emotion through skin pigmentation, and now his body shifted from gold to dark crimson. "Impossible! There is nothing in this system capable of that." Meanwhile, on Earth, Commander Elias Gray observed everything. He stood before a holographic map displaying the alien formations. Each fleet, each ship, each squadron moved as predicted, reacting exactly as humans had calculated. "They are confident," Gray said calmly. "They believe their numbers guarantee success. They do not understand that confidence alone cannot win this war." Lieutenant Mari's chin tapped her console. "Sir, they are close enough for a direct message. Shall we send it?" Gray nodded. "Yes, but not a threat, not yet. Let them understand their arrogance has consequences." A holographic communication channel was opened. Unlike normal messages, this one was broadcast across every fleet, using multiple frequencies simultaneously. It was calm, clear, and unmistakably human. The message began. "To all species of the Galactic Assembly." The message was simple, direct, and without emotion. It was not a threat, but it carried weight that no species could ignore. The aliens received it simultaneously across their fleets. Sensors and communication channels flashed with the clarity of human precision. Captain Velix of the Revalan fleet furrowed his many eyes. What is this?" he whispered. "They are speaking, but there is no emotion, no panic, no fear, just authority." Across the Sorlian Armada, Lieutenant Kree was pale. They are calm, entirely calm. "And their systems, nothing is failing, yet our fleets are faltering. This cannot be happening." On Earth, Gray observed the reactions carefully. Humans had planned every word. They did not scream, they did not shout, and they did not threaten. They simply stated the truth. Humans were prepared, and no species had fully understood their strength. The aliens reacted with disbelief. Some laughed nervously, thinking it a bluff. Others began to doubt everything they had assumed. How could a world so small, so seemingly insignificant, command such precision and control over their approach? At the same time, small, invisible human ships began to maneuver around the outer edges of the fleets. They were undetectable by most sensors, moving faster than any alien technology could track. They touched alien ships lightly, not to damage, but to disrupt. Engines faltered, shields wavered, energy readings jumped erratically. Entire squadrons were confused. Admiral Thrin's tentacles shook. "What are they doing?" he demanded. They are not firing," Kree stammered. "But our systems are failing. Every calculation, every system, it is unreliable." Gray smiled faintly. "They do not understand, they cannot see the system. They cannot comprehend it, and that is the advantage we have held for centuries." In orbit, the alien fleets attempted to reorganize. The Revalans sent drones to scout. The Signars attempted long-range scans. The Sorlian engines roared in a frustrated display of power. Yet every move they made only revealed one truth. Humans had anticipated it all. Every formation, every tactic, every technology had been considered and countered. The alien delegates began to whisper. "Perhaps we have been too hasty," said one from the assembly hall. "Perhaps these humans are far more capable than we imagined." "No," said another. "They are weak. We are many. Surely they cannot defeat all of us." But as another human ship passed unseen, leaving behind only minor interference, doubt grew. Ships lost coordination. Squadrons collided. Engines overheated without explanation. Panic spread quietly, unnoticed by most humans, but deeply felt across alien crews. On Earth, civilians continued their routines, unaware of the fleets above. Schools operated, factories hummed, and families went about their lives. To the humans watching from command centers, this calmness was another tool. While the galaxy trembled above, life on Earth remained ordinary, a demonstration of control and discipline unmatched by any other species. Gray activated another layer of orbital defenses. A network of satellites sent pulses of energy into the upper atmosphere, invisible to the naked eye but capable of disrupting propulsion systems. Alien ships reacted immediately. Engines sputtered, shields flickered, weapons cooled automatically to prevent overloads. Chaos rippled through the formations. "Sir," a Saurian lieutenant shouted, "another wing has lost contact, engines offline, drones destroyed, entire squadrons are gone." Gray watched the data. Exactly as planned, no humans fired a shot, no one is at risk. They are learning the lesson. The aliens did not understand. Their arrogance had led them to believe numbers alone would win. They assumed humans were primitive, weak, unprepared, and now they were discovering the flaw in that assumption. Back in the assembly hall, delegates whispered in disbelief. "The humans, they control the system without force. They do not fight, yet our fleets falter. How can this be?" Captain Velix of the Revalan muttered. "They are not weak, not even close, and yet they do not attack." How, Gray observed quietly. The first human message had done its job. It had revealed restraint, intelligence, and capability without aggression. The galaxy had expected fear and submission. Instead, it had received calm authority, precise coordination, and the hint of unseen strength. Hours passed. Alien fleets attempted to regroup. Officers barked orders. Ships tried to repair, recalibrate, and regain control. But every attempt failed. Humans had anticipated every strategy, every counter, every technological maneuver. Then another communication arrived from Earth, this one more precise, targeting specific ships. "We do not seek conflict, we offer peace. But understand this, any attempt to force control will fail. You have underestimated humanity. Cease your advance and no harm will come to you. Persist, and you will witness the limits of your assumptions." The message was clear, calm, and unavoidable. Across the alien fleet, screens lit up with the words. Officers froze, commanders hesitated. The galaxy had never experienced such authority without visible force. "Are they threatening us?" a Trium lieutenant asked nervously. "No," replied another. "It is a warning." "But there is power behind it, power we cannot see." Gray leaned back, satisfied. The first human message had achieved its goal. Aliens were no longer confident. Doubt and fear had entered the minds of even the most arrogant officers. Humans had demonstrated that strength was not measured by numbers, but by planning, preparation, and intelligence. Above the planet, alien fleets drifted in confusion. Some attempted retreat. Others tried to attack, only to find their systems failing. The very tools they had relied upon, their ships, their sensors, their communication networks, were unreliable, and still no humans had engaged directly. On Earth, civilians remained unaware. Children played in parks. Students studied in classrooms. Factories produced goods. Humans had shown discipline, calm, and coordination. Their strength was hidden yet unmistakable, and in the command centers, Gray and his team watched carefully. "This is only the beginning," he said. "They believe they can control us. They are about to learn the truth." The galaxy, for the first time, began to realize that humans were not what they had assumed. They were far more clever, far more prepared, and far more resilient than any species had imagined. The first message was simple, direct, and nonviolent, but its effect was devastating. For every alien officer who had laughed at Earth, a seed of doubt had been planted. For every fleet commander who had expected submission, fear had replaced certainty. And for every species that had voted to enslave Earth, the reality was beginning to sink in. They had underestimated humanity. The calm of Earth contrasted sharply with the chaos above. The first human message had changed the balance of power. The galaxy had expected a weak, divided species. Instead, it had encountered preparation, intelligence, and quiet authority. And that was only the beginning. The alien fleets had never seen anything like it. What had started as quiet anomalies in their sensors had escalated into full-scale disruption. Ships faltered mid-flight. Engines lost power without reason. Communications failed, leaving squadrons isolated and confused. The galaxy had expected humans to panic, to surrender, to beg for mercy, but Earth remained calm. Admiral Thrin of the Sorlian Armada floated above his command deck, eyes wide with disbelief. "This cannot continue," he said, his voice shaking. "They are not attacking, and yet our fleets are failing." Lieutenant Kree, his most trusted officer, pointed to a holographic map. "Sir, every system we attempt to repair immediately fails again. Their influence is everywhere. We cannot predict their next move." Thrin clenched his massive claws. "We must retreat. We must regroup." But retreat was not simple. Every human defense had been designed to anticipate alien strategies. Fleets attempting to escape found themselves slowed by invisible forces, engines disrupted by precise pulses of energy. Communications failed and navigational systems faltered. It was not brute force, it was precision, and humans held every advantage. On Earth, Commander Elias Gray observed the chaos with calm detachment. From the command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, he and his team monitored the fleets in real time. Every ship, every weapon system, every alien maneuver was accounted for. "Now," he said quietly. "They have seen our warning. They have tested our restraint. It is time to show them the consequences of arrogance." Gray activated the next layer of defense, orbital drones designed for rapid, targeted disruption. Unlike earlier, these drones were visible, moving in coordinated patterns across the outer edges of the alien formations. They carried no destructive weapons. Instead, they used technology to disable engines, scramble sensors, and create confusion in enemy formations. Alien officers stared in disbelief as their fleets began to falter under the presence of these small, almost invisible machines. Large capital ships could not act quickly enough to respond. Squadrons collided, systems overloaded, communications failed. Captain Velix of the Revalan fleet shouted orders, but nothing worked. His multi-eyed form twisted with frustration. "How can this be?" he asked. "We outnumber them 100-1, yet a single planet's defenses are destroying our fleets." Gray watched silently. He did not gloat, he did not shout. Humans did not need to display emotion to demonstrate control. Every move was precise, deliberate, and perfect. The galaxy had assumed humans were weak, but the truth was far more terrifying. Across the alien fleets, panic spread. Officers questioned one another, delegates whispered in the assembly hall. "They are stronger than we imagined," one admitted. "Entire squadrons are lost without battle." A Signar diplomat floated forward. "We underestimated them," he said. "Earth is unlike any other species we have encountered." "Yes," another whispered, "and we may have made a terrible mistake." Back in orbit, human drones continued their precise maneuvers. Engines on alien ships stuttered as invisible pulses disrupted power distribution. Energy shields flickered, creating hesitation in every attack. The fleets could not advance, could not retreat, and could not communicate effectively. On Earth's surface, civilians remained unaware. Cities glimmered under sunlight, factories operated, schools remained open. Humans had mastered the art of comm control. While chaos unfolded in orbit, life on Earth continued, a stark contrast to the confusion above. Gray activated another system, satellite arrays that could manipulate gravitational fields. Large alien capital ships suddenly found themselves tilting, drifting, and losing formation. Smaller ships collided with each other, engines failing at the worst possible moments. Entire wings were paralyzed, unable to act. Admiral Thrin's tentacles twitched nervously. "They are controlling gravity?" he asked. "Impossible, no species can do this." "They are humans," Kree said quietly. "We should have remembered their history, their ingenuity, their unpredictability." Gray did not need to speak. The human forces were self-explanatory. Every move was measured, every strategy anticipated, every failure of the alien fleets intentional. The galaxy had underestimated humans, and now they were paying the price. Then came the next stage, a human message broadcast in perfect clarity to all fleets. "We do not seek unnecessary conflict. We only defend what is ours. Your fleets have entered our space with the assumption of dominance. You were wrong. Cease your advance, and we will not pursue. Continue, and you will witness the full strength of Earth." The words were calm, deliberate, and unwavering. Alien officers froze. Many had never heard a species speak with such authority without firing a single weapon. The silence that followed was deafening. "Sir," a Trium officer said nervously, "they speak, but there is power behind it. We cannot see it, yet we feel it in every system." Admiral Thrin's voice was low, trembling with frustration. "We cannot fight them, and yet we cannot retreat. What are they?" Gray smiled faintly. "They will learn soon enough." In orbit, human drones moved again, more aggressively this time, not to destroy but to disable. Alien ships found their engines failing entirely. Weapons locked, communications cut, systems overloaded, entire wings were paralyzed. And still humans did not strike directly. Onboard the Sorlian flagship, Thrin floated in stunned silence. "They are not attacking," he whispered. "They are controlling the battle without weapons?" "Yes," Kree said, "and we are powerless to stop it." Across the galaxy, news of Earth's power spread quickly. Delegates who had voted for control now faced shame and fear. Entire species realized their assumptions had been flawed. Humans were not weak. They were prepared, intelligent, and more powerful than anyone had imagined. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Gray activated the final layer, the orbital network of automated defense ships. Hundreds of small vessels, almost invisible, moved into position around the alien fleets. They did not fire. They simply interfered, disrupted, and confused. Engines failed. Shields faltered. Weapons became unreliable. The alien fleets were trapped in a web of human strategy. Captain Velix's voice trembled. They are everywhere. How can a single planet?" Gray's assistant, Lieutenant Chen, observed calmly. "They cannot comprehend our systems. Every possible move they might make, we have prepared for it." The fleets tried to attack. Missiles and energy beams were launched, but the humans' interference systems rerouted them harmlessly into space. Squadrons tried to regroup, but invisible pulses disrupted coordination. The aliens were helpless, their confidence shattered. Even the Cygnar fleet, considered one of the most disciplined, began to falter. Officers shouted orders, but engines stuttered, weapons jammed, and communications failed. The galaxy had expected humans to beg for mercy. Instead, humans remained calm, disciplined, and in control. The assembly watched helplessly. Delegates whispered, debated, and argued. "They are stronger than anyone predicted," one admitted. "We cannot touch them. Our fleets are failing without battle." "Yes," said another. "And we voted to enslave them. This is our mistake." Gray observed it all quietly. "This is the moment they understand that arrogance has consequences," he said. "This is the moment humanity earns respect across the stars." Hours passed. Alien fleets attempted to retreat, but human interference prevented coordinated withdrawal. Engines stuttered, navigation failed, and drones continued to disrupt their systems. They had underestimated humans. Now they faced the results of their misjudgment. On Earth, civilians remained calm, unaware of the galaxy watching in fear above. Children played in parks. Factories produced goods. Schools remained open. Humans had mastered the art of calm, precise control, showing the galaxy that strength was not measured by aggression, but by preparation, intelligence, and restraint. Finally, Gray broadcast another message, one that reached every fleet simultaneously. "The choice is yours. Withdraw peacefully and you will leave unharmed. Continue your advance and you will face consequences far beyond your assumptions. Humanity does not seek war, but we will defend ourselves without hesitation. Your vote has consequences." The silence that followed was complete. Alien officers froze. Commanders hesitated. Delegates whispered among themselves. The galaxy had never experienced a species that could hold such power without firing a single weapon. Gray stood quietly, observing, calculating, waiting for the next move. The fleets above were trapped, confused, and afraid. The galaxy had assumed humans were weak. It had been the gravest mistake in recorded history. And above it all, Earth remained calm, serene, and undefeated.